MySQL. So this is the course structure for MySQL. So introduction to database and the data types, DDL, DML, constraints, operators, aggregate operations, functions. Functions means string functions, date functions. Okay, so different types of functions. So derived tables, joining tables, normalization, common table expressions, store procedures, functions, how to handle the exceptions, transactions. So without transactions, what will happen? With the transaction, what will happen? Okay, control statements like if, else, while loop, dynamic SQL triggers, database backups, restore, importing data from Excel sheet, exporting data to the Excel sheet like JSN. Okay, and some administration queries also, which is called backend queries. Okay. So these concepts we will discuss one by one. And today we will discuss what is database, list of databases, what is MySQL, how it will work, features, and what are the basic commands for database, creating database and deleting the database, what are the data types, main data types. I am not going to discuss about all the data types in the database. Okay, so just whatever the data types are required, that data types only I am going to discuss. Okay, otherwise you people will confuse. And what are the basic commands in database? Okay, these concepts I will discuss one by one. First of all, before going to discuss about database, first, why it is introduced database? What is the evolution of database? Like earlier days, we used to store the data on papers. Okay. After that, some Word documents, okay, Excel sheets. Okay. Using this, we used to store the data in the form of Excel sheets and Word documents. Okay. After introducing the computers, so people used to store the data in systems, file structure, which is called file structures. After that, databases came into the picture. So before going to database also, we used to store the data in floppy drives, CDs, DVDs, all these things came into the picture. So after that, database come into the picture, and it is used to maintain the data as per the user requirements. Okay. So database means it is an application that stores the organized collection of records. Okay, please remember this point, organized collection of records. That means it will not store the data which is in any format. Okay, it stores the data in structured format, specific structured format. Okay. So why it is required means database can be accessed and managed by the user very easily. And database allows to organize data into tables, rows, columns, like that. Okay. And what are the list of databases means? These are the list of databases. So in this, MongoDB is the NoSQL database. Okay, so this remaining MySQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL, Oracle, all these are RDBMS database. RDBMS means Relational Database Management System. What is relational database management system means? Database is a collection of tables, procedures, functions, views, triggers. Okay. So here in tables, table means what is table? It is a collection of rows and columns. Okay. So here collection of tables. Okay, collection of tables. That means a database will have many tables. One table, if you have the facility to represent the relationship between the one table and another table, then we can call it as relational database. Okay, so like parent table, child table. So RDBMS supports such kind of facility to the users. Okay, that's why we call it as relational database. So what is relational database management system means? We can represent the relationship between tables. Okay, so we can represent the constraints. Okay, so that is relational database management system, RDBMS. Okay, so here in this RDBMS, we are going to discuss about MySQL. What is MySQL? So MySQL was started in 1979. Inventor is Michael Wyness, introduced in 23rd May 1995. And it is open source database software. MySQL is the popular language for accessing and managing the records in the database. And it can support many operating systems like Windows, Linux, and Mac OS also. Okay. How MySQL works? In real time, we will have one server like this. This is server. And in this server, we will install MySQL software. And after installing that MySQL software, we need to use some GUI. I mean graphical user interface. Okay, to interact with the MySQL. You can also install that GUI in server also. After that, you create one database and create one user for the database. Okay, that means in server you need to install the MySQL. After that, create the database and create the username and password. And the default port number is 3306. If you want, you can change. After that, in client system, you can connect to the server by using the database name, not database name, server name. Server name is IP address, port number, username, and password. Okay. If any database is mapped with that user, then immediately you can access that database. Okay. So this is the MySQL workbench. And so here the list of databases available in my local system. Okay. See, what is the database means? See this. Database is a collection of tables, views, stored procedures, functions. And you can say that triggers also. So everything is an object, and that is database is a collection of objects like tables, views, procedures, and functions. So if you know the IP address, username, password, and port number, then any one of the person can able to connect to that particular server and database. Okay, see this. Here client server architecture. Here client makes the request to the server by using some credentials and it will get that response. Okay, so here client can create the database also, and he can able to create the any database objects like tables, views, procedures and functions. Okay, for example, I have installed one database in a server. Sorry, I have installed MySQL in a server. After that, I have created one database. Assume that D4. Okay, and I have created one username and password. And I know that server IP address, username and password, and I have given to my colleagues, like 5 members are there. I have given that credentials to that 5 members, and 5 members at a time can able to connect to that server, and that 5 persons can able to create any one of the database object at a time. Okay, so that is client server. Okay, so any one of the person can able to connect. Okay, and what are the features and reason for popularity means, I think all of you know that. So it is a open source and no need to pay anything, and it is faster than other databases, and it can support large databases also. Okay, so that main reason is it is open source, free software. Okay, and these are the features. It is easy to use, and it provides security, client server architecture, and free to download, scalability, speed, flexibility. So as we discussed, compatible with any operating system. It allows rollback. So what is rollback? We will discuss in transaction concept. And it provides performance and productivity and partitioning, database partitioning, that is separate concept, and GUI support. So what are the GUIs are available to connect with the MySQL? Okay, once you install the MySQL in server, you need some GUI, right? So without GUI, you can also access the database through command prompt in server itself. Okay, but it is not user friendly. So through the GUI only, you can have multiple features like exporting to Excel and importing from Excel. So that features you will have. Okay, so data import, I mean a database backup and restore. Okay, these type of features is available in GUI only. Otherwise, you need to write some code in command prompt. Okay, these are the GUIs, MySQL Workbench. So most of the people uses this MySQL Workbench and Smart Workbench, SQL Yoke. So all these GUI tools. And how to create the database? So create the database means create database D6. So I'm going to create this, and here refresh. So it is available. So initially no object is there. So tables, views, stored procedures. So if you want to use this database and use D6. Okay. And if you want to list how many databases are available, So these are the database are available. And if you want to delete the database, drop database D6 if exist. If exists, it will delete. So now it is gone, D6. So if you don't put if exists, then what will happen? See this. D7 does not exist. So see this. Cannot drop database D7 does not exist. See this. Here error you will get. Here if you use if exist condition, you don't get the error. You just get the warnings. Okay, that is the difference between if exist and without if exist. And what are the different types of database data types? Okay, so main data types are integer, float, bit, char, varchar, time, datetime. Okay, so integer means in this integer you will have multiple types like tiny int, small int, medium int, integer, big int. Okay, these are the ranges. Okay, so float. Now I'm going to create one table in database. Click on the table, right click on the table, create. Here you can give the name like sample. So I'm taking this new database. So this integer float. Column underscore integer. So I'm going to give this integer data type and column underscore float. Float. So boolean not bit. Char. Date and time. Date. So here date, time, date, time. That means these are the column names. So this column will accept only integer type, and this one float, this one boolean. Sorry. Okay. See, so char, varchar, date, time, datetime. So click on apply button. See this here. While after clicking on apply button, you will get script. That means, see, if it is, wait a minute, create C1 integer, C2 varchar. Okay, so just I am clicking. It is not table. Series. So if you click on apply button, automatically this workbench tool generate the script. Okay, so you can observe this. So this is the beauty of MySQL workbench. Okay, so you can, whenever you're trying to click on apply button, you will get executable script. Okay, so by using this also you can learn the how queries how to write. Okay, so here you need to observe the difference. That means datetime format is now date is 2022 06/02. This is the date, year, month, date, and time 84. That means 24 hours format 00. Hours, minutes, seconds. Date time means both. Okay. So if you use the data type date means you can able to capture the date only. Like that time also. If you use date time, you can able to capture both date and time. And remember this,